If you have clicked on this video, then you are either interested in maybe purchasing this bike, or you are possibly just researching a good first bike. This is my first bike straight off the back of a CBT, and I'm here to tell you how much I absolutely freaking love this bike. I personally think for a first bike, this is possibly one of the best. I mean, I don't have anything to compare it to apart from the bike that I did my CBT on, and my CBT, if anybody's had their CBT done yet and they are researching now to buy a bike, or you haven't been on your CBT yet, let's just say them bikes that you go on aren't really, well, not for me anyway, it wasn't really top of the range, and I did struggle a little bit, and it was my first CBT. I'd never been on a geared bike before. I got through it, but after transitioning from that bike to this beauty, I'm just excited to talk about it. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the bike. So it's a Suzuki GSX-R125. She is in the lightweight class as well. So she's weighing around 134 kg. Now, being a lightweight bike for me is good. I am female, so it is hard for, if you haven't got the strength there, to be learning to ride a bike and also struggling to hold it up. So for me, this bike has been good. At first, it was a little bit of a struggle to hold the bike because I'm not a very strong person, but as I've been riding it, you know, moving it around, I've got a bit stronger regarding the bike. So if you're looking for a lightweight bike, maybe not just because of that reason, but if you are, I don't know, if you are a girl and you want to have a 125 and you have found that some of the bikes are really quite heavy, then maybe go into a place, a store, and actually have a look at this bike. Okay, so some key features on this bike. So it has got a keyless ignition, which is fantastic. So you do have a fob. Guys, if you walk away from the bike though, and then you come back to it and then you try and turn it on and you're like, why is this not turning on? You need to fob it. You need to press your button on your fob so the bike knows that you're there. It's got LED headlights. Also, she is a 4-stroke bike as well, so just keep that in mind. So they are a lot more reliable, well, so I'm told. She has got pedal disc brakes as well. After researching this bike myself, it's supposed to be one of the best power to weight bikes out there, obviously in the 125 region. If you're looking at bigger bikes, then you probably wouldn't be watching this video anyway. So one of the best things about this bike, if you are starting out and you have just maybe come off your CBT and you really want a good reliable bike to actually learn on, for me it's the LCD display. Now this is absolutely fantastic. You will get the speed, you can see it, it's very clear. So it tells you the speed, lets you know your fuel, so it tells you in bars how much fuel you have in your tank, which is good. So obviously if you are going a little bit further out, then you know when to stop for petrol and stuff like that. The best part for me is the actual gears. So this thing tells you what gear you're in. So for me, that's fantastic. When I had my CBT, one of the horrible things about actually going on a brand new bike and trying to learn gears is I had no freaking clue of what gear I was in. When I got this bike and I seen it had this feature, I was like thinking, oh my God, this is brilliant. You know, I know if I'm in first gear, obviously most bikes tell you if you're in neutral anyway, but this tells you what gear you're in. This bike obviously has the 6th gear. This for me was probably at the top there because it's nice to know if you're a new learner. Obviously, when you're a bit further on and you've been riding for a while, you know when to change gear, you can hear the engine, etc, etc. But when you're a new rider and you're trying to figure out, you're trying to indicate, you're trying to learn how to turn, you're trying to not fall off and stuff like that, you know, you've got so much to think about when you're a first new person on the road. You've got other things to look out for. So this feature for me was really good. If I'm coming to a junction, look at my display and be like, right, I'm going to now slowly start going down in the gears. I'll know when I stop if I'm in first gear or not, which is good because when you're about to take off at lights or anything like that, you know you're in the first gear. Especially if you're on a quick stop, so you literally have just stopped and then you think, oh my God, it's changed, and then you've got to go off again. And without having to faff around like trying to push down to make sure you are in that first gear, you can just look at the display and it tells you. Fantastic. Also, what I like on the display on this is that it actually tells the time, which I think was quite a good feature. I mean, you probably don't need it really, but for me it is a good feature. If I'm going to go somewhere and I know I've got to be there by a certain time or anything like that, and you obviously you can't just get your phone out or pull back all your levers just to kind of look at a watch and stuff. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. I don't think obviously it's going to be like wow, this is amazing. But I just think that was a nice little touch from Suzuki. My final thoughts on this bike. I know I'm biased because it is my first bike and I absolutely love it. But for me, I feel like I actually made a really good choice. When I'd come away from my CBT, I was in two minds whether to get a second-hand bike, because of obviously you're going to worry about dropping it and stuff like that, or you know any kind of first vehicle you do kind of worry about, if you're going to spend a lot of money, are you going to damage it and then feel really disheartened. But when I was looking at even second-hand bikes, I mean, they were still coming up around 2.7 for a second-hand bike, and obviously they'd done more miles and stuff like that, and I was kind of like to-ing and fro-ing, because when I purchased this bike, it was actually on about 3,400, give or take. I can't remember exactly what it was. For me, for looking at second-hand bikes at 2,700, and then I can get one for 3,400. Get the second-hand bike or to get the brand new bike. But for me, I decided to go for a brand new bike, and I'll tell you why. It's because I wanted to be safe. If you have massive knowledge about bikes and you've been riding for years and you know your ins and outs of vehicles and stuff like that, then that's absolutely fine, that you can go ahead and do that. But I have literally just come back off from my CBT, and I don't have a huge knowledge yet at the moment regarding motorbikes or anything like that. It's a passion of mine that I want to obviously carry on and keep going with. Just really needed to make sure that I was going to be safe on the road and I wasn't going to break down. And for the sake of £700-800 or even £1,000, it kind of swayed me to get the new bike. That's just my opinion, guys. You can do whatever you like. I just feel like I've made a really good choice regarding buying this Suzuki bike. I absolutely love it. We've been out a few times. Unfortunately, the weather is changing now here in the UK, so with me being a novice, I don't really go out that much when the weather is pretty bad. She does get tucked away. Guys, I am passionate about talking about bikes and stuff. If you are new to biking, or even if you're not new to biking and you've liked my video, comment down below. I'm going to be uploading quite a few videos regarding my motorbike, just learning from scratch basically. If anybody wants to chat about bikes or even give me some tips and tricks and stuff like that. Again, I always say this at the end of my videos, if you've gotten to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys again in my next video.